Welcome back. I'm Sonia Simak, and I'm so pleased you're joining me as we continue our Wholeness Series. In our first two conversations, we explored how wholeness begins with belonging and how many of us leave parts of ourselves behind in order to survive. We discovered that healing is not about becoming someone different. It is about welcoming every part of ourselves home. Today, we're going to explore something that quietly influences almost every one of us. Perfection. Most people don't wake up in the morning saying, "Today I'm going to be perfect." Yet, many of us live as though perfection is the price of being accepted. We believe that if you can work harder, be kinder, be stronger, be thinner, be more successful, be a better parent, be a better partner, be a better leader, then perhaps we will finally feel enough. But what if perfection has never been the destination? What if perfection is actually one of the greatest obstacles to wholeness? Let's explore that together. I'd like you to think about this question. When was the last time you felt you were enough? Not because you achieved something, not because someone praised you, not because you crossed another item off your to-do list. Simply enough. For many people, that question is surprisingly difficult. Somewhere along life's journey, being enough quietly became doing enough. And once that happens, the finish line keeps moving. No achievement is ever quite enough. No success lasts long enough. No amount of approval truly satisfies. Why? Because perfection is a moving target. Wholeness is not. So let me tell you a story about a water carrier who carried two clay pots on a pole across his shoulders. You've all seen that picture. One pot was perfect. The other had a small crack. Every day, the perfect pot arrived completely full, and the cracked pot arrived only half full. For years, the crackpot felt ashamed. It apologized constantly for its flaw. And one day, the water carrier smiled and asked, "Have you ever noticed the flowers growing on your side of the path?" The crackpot looked carefully. Beautiful wildflowers lined the entire journey. And the water carrier continued, "I knew about your crack. I planted seeds along your side, and every day you watered them without even knowing." The pot had spent years trying to hide had become the very reason beauty existed. I think many of us are like that cracked pot. We spent years apologizing for the places where life has marked us. We rarely notice how many of those same places have grown compassion, wisdom, kindness, and understanding. Where does perfection come from? From a systemic perspective, perfection is rarely about excellence. More often, it is about belonging. Children quickly learn what receives approval. Some receive praise for good grades, some for being helpful, some for being quiet, some for being responsible, and some simply learn not to cause trouble. Over time, an unconscious belief begins to form. If I do everything right, I will be loved. Or, if I make no mistakes, I will stay safe. Or, I will never disappoint anyone. I will continue to belong. Notice something important. Perfection isn't usually about wanting to be the best. It is often about fearing rejection, and that changes everything. Perfection comes less about achievement and more about protection. When we understand that, we stop judging ourselves. Instead, we begin appreciating the intelligence of the survival strategy. At some point in your life, trying to be perfect probably helped you. Perhaps it prevented criticism. Perhaps it reduces conflict. Perhaps it earned attention. Perhaps it created stability. The strategy itself isn't wrong. The question is whether it still serves you today. Perfection fragments us. And here's what perfection quietly asks of us. Only show the acceptable parts. Don't let the people see your uncertainty. Don't admit you feel overwhelmed. Don't ask for help. Don't cry. Don't fail. Don't make mistakes. Keep smiling. Keep producing. Keep coping. The difficulty is that every time we hide another part of ourselves, we become a little more fragmented. Wholeness says something very different. It says, you are allowed to be wise and still learning, strong and vulnerable, confident and uncertain, successful and human, healing and still hurting. Real life is both. Nature understands this beautifully. The seasons don't apologize. Winter doesn't try to become summer. Autumn doesn't compete with spring. Each season has its place. Each contributes to the whole. Why do we expect ourselves to live differently? So let's look this up from a systemic perspective, where every part serves the whole. One of the principles I love most in systemic work is that every element within a healthy system has its place. Not because every part is perfect, but because every part contributes. Think about a family. The joyful moments matter, the painful moments matter, the celebrations matter, the losses matter. Each becomes part of the family's story. And the same is true within ourselves. Our confidence teaches us to step forward. Our fear reminds us to be thoughtful. And our grief teaches compassion. Our mistakes teach wisdom. Our failures often become our greatest teachers. If we remove every difficult experience from our lives, we also remove many of the qualities that make us deeply human. Wholeness is not built by collecting achievements. It is built by integrating experience. So when I look back over my own life, there are moments I once wished had never happened. There were disappointments, unexpected losses, times when life took a direction I had never imagined. And for many years, I measured myself by what I believed I should have done differently. But eventually, I realized something very important. The wisdom I now share didn't grow out of perfection. It grew out of experience. It grew out of learning. It grew out of living. Had life unfolded exactly according to my plans, I might have achieved more of what I expected. But I doubt I would have developed the same depth of compassion or understanding. Sometimes What we call our imperfections become the doorway to our greatest contribution. So I would like to leave you with a few questions. Where in your life are you still trying to be perfect? Who first taught you that mistakes are dangerous? What would become possible if you allowed yourself to be fully human instead? And perhaps the most important question, what qualities have grown in your life because of experiences you once wished had never happened? Take a moment with those questions. They don't require immediate answers. They simply invite honest curiosity. Let's finish today with a gentle practice. Sit comfortably, take a slow breath in, and gently breathe out. Now imagine standing before a mirror, and as you look at yourself, don't focus on what you would like to change. Instead, simply notice. Notice the years you've lived, the experiences you've carried, the joys, the disappointments, the hopes, the lessons. Now quietly repeat, I no longer need to earn my worth. I release the need to be perfect. I welcome my strengths and I welcome my limitations. I honor the lessons my mistakes have taught me, and I choose wholeness over perfection. I am enough, not because I'm flawless, but because I belong. Take another deep breath and allow those words to settle. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Today we've explored one of the quiet beliefs that keeps so many people exhausted. The belief that perfection will finally make us enough. Yet, from a systemic perspective, perfection has never been the goal. Belonging has. Life has never asked you to become flawless. It simply invited you to become fully present to who you are. And as you move through this week, I'd like you to notice the moments when your inner critic begins demanding perfection. When that happens, pause, take a breath, and gently ask yourself, what would wholeness choose instead? You may be surprised by the answer. In our next episode, we'll explore another powerful systemic truth: healing what was never yours to carry. We'll discover how many of the burdens we carry, guilt, responsibility, shame, even emotional pain, may not actually belong to us, and how returning those burdens with love can become one of the greatest acts of healing. If today's reflection has resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Where has the pursuit of perfection prevented you from simply being yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe if you'd like to continue this journey, and consider sharing this video with someone who may need the reminder that they are already enough. Until next time, remember, perfection asks you to become someone else. Wholeness invites you to become more fully yourself. And that is where genuine freedom begins.